GearNetwork.com.
The following is a presentation of the Gear Radio Network.
Coming to you live from the Gear Network studios in Rochester, New York. This is the JC Money Show with your host, John Cimino, aka JC Money. And now, here's John.
From the Gear Network studios, coming to you live, ladies and gentlemen, this is the JC Money Show on the Gear Radio Network, available on Apple Music, Google Play, Spotify, Pandora, Radio.com, all over. Anywhere you find your shows, you can find us here. If you're watching us on the JC Money Show Facebook page, welcome. Thank you very much for tuning in here on the Facebook page, on the YouTube page as well. If YouTube doesn't yank me again, good God, YouTube. YouTube and I, we're like this. We are not boys. Hello, everyone. My name is John Cimino at IamJCMoney on the Twitter. Right there. No, that's the Gear Network logo. Right there. That's the Twitter. At IamJCMoney on Twitter. I'm still learning this whole new software thing, but I am pleased to bring you part 2 of opening up the NBA Hoops cards. That's right. First, though, Western New York PodCon. Ladies and gentlemen, that was a tremendous day of podcasting with our friends at the BICBP Radio Network, and particularly Matt Johnson, whom I go back and forth with a lot in terms of podcasting and life and football and all that stuff in general, too. Very, very pleased to be part of this. Thank you so much for tuning in and listening to myself and Chris Gullo talk about WCW. I promise you there will be more to follow with that. I am doing the WCW ventures, and I am still... It's now getting to the good part of WCW, I feel, where the action actually begins to make sense and starts to translate very well into the stories. You know, we're talking about in the last episode with Gullo and I, Lex Luger, you know, with the alliance to end Hulkamania, and then as it turns out, you know, he's still kind of like a tweener because he's still friends with Sting, and then now the NWO comes in, and now he's largely behind WCW. So it all worked out in a weird way with the Luger Hogan story. It's almost as if Luger came in September of 1995, and he already knew Hogan was plotting this deep NWO thing. I don't know. I'm on probably about 20 minutes before Bash at the Beach. So I'm on the main event right now, as of this recording. The main event of the final Nitro of before the NWO formed at Bash at the Beach. So I'm going through that, and then I'm going to go through the Bash at the Beach pay-per-view. Really quickly, I do want to say that I threw out there in a post about actually continuing the pro wrestling part of the JC Money Show in terms of doing watch-alongs. I now have the ability to do that, where I could actually have the video viewable with me in the corner, here, there, wherever, watching any match that, you know, you select. And the thought behind that was that, you know, there would be some bad wrestling mixed in there. There's a lot of good wrestling in there, and I think that with some of the suggestions that have been made to me, and some of them are quite lengthy. I don't know that a watch-along by myself for a match that is longer than a Barry Hardy squash match is something that I can do alone. So I'm going to openly solicit who wants to do watch-alongs with me. Now, Chris Gullo has kind of become my WCW guy, but I'm certainly welcome. I'm certainly not against bringing him on as well in terms of the watching that again. But Eric Wolf, I know I want to get him on there for some watch-alongs. Eric and I had discussed quite a bit about doing watch-alongs for very, very bad wrestling, but not just like bad, like I'm talking like 1970s WWF Championship Wrestling, like that type of stuff, like those that could go back and remember Dino Bravo with brown hair before he became the Canadian Superman or Canadian Strongman or whatever. And Vince McMahon was really high on him, so he was pushing Dino Bravo, and Larry Zbyszko was there, and it was an interesting period. And you would have, like the Big Cat, Ernie Ladd, take on two people and beat the crap out of them. And it's just such, it's loved. And when you look back at that kind of wrestling, you like to see it if you're a historian, because it brings you back to those times, those more innocent times of a kayfabe world of pro wrestling. But in the same, you look at it now by today's standards, and it is so freaking bad and so porous, and would not fly on network television Friday nights at 8 o'clock or on TNT at 8 o'clock on Wednesday nights, every week. It wouldn't do that. That is the epitome of syndicated wrestling, of syndication, and that's what it was. So, but it's also a fun look to see when you look at those old videos, those old WWF Championship Wrestling videos, WWF Superstars. That Championship Wrestling morphed into that, I believe. Wrestling Challenge, even going to the WCW ones with the early WCW Saturday nights, the Power Hours, things like that. Like the syndicated stuff, you always have a soft spot for those, but none of that can fly in today's world nowadays. But so, as not just opening these packs of cards here, not just having interviews, not just bullshitting about sports or politics. Sorry, folks, I do have guests that would like to talk politics, and there are going to be episodes with that. JC Money Show is very much a variety show. I like to do comedy, like to do little prank, have the little prank calls when the spam people call me and do that. So it's a little of everything. This is a gigantic podcast show about nothing, and I'm the moderator and the host for it. It's wonderful. So what I'm going to do, though, is for the podcast feed world, actually for everybody, whether you're watching or whether you are listening, I'm going to go ahead and kick it off to a quick commercial break. When we come back, I'm going to open this pack of NBA Hoops cards and send it home. This is the JC Money Show on the Gear Radio Network.
What's up, Rock Soldiers? This is Robbie Vegas coming at you from the All Bets Are Off podcast. If you are into horror movies, the paranormal, professional wrestling, or music, this is the place for you. We're bringing you the latest and greatest interviews in all of the above: music, horror, and of course, professional wrestling. So tune in on the Gear Network. Check out All Bets Are Off. Rate us, like us, subscribe to us, leave us your comments, tell us what you think. And we'll catch you soon on the All Bets Are Off podcast, dropping every Sunday at noon.
Great monkey man's gone the distance. The lucky one's gonna get it all. Loving life now, living on.
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen, here on the JC Money Show Facebook page, YouTube page, Twitter. Like it. Follow me. I post good stuff. None of it's really serious, but some of it is. But none of it really is. But some of it is. Okay, so last time I did a opening special here. We got Pooh Richardson. Pooh Richardson and a Magic Johnson card. John Stockton card was on there. And the goal is to try and find a Mark Jackson card. Mark Jackson when he played for the New York Knicks, because the Menendez brothers are featured on the card. Now I have probably about a good 30 packs that I need to open. And I'm hoping that in that 30 pack, there's at least 2 of those Mark Jackson cards. But with that being said, here is the big reveal for this particular podcast. So we're going to open it right now. And the first card that I have up here is a B.J. Armstrong rookie card. B.J. Armstrong, y'all remember him? And you know what? In the back, they actually list the name, the full name, Benjamin Roy Armstrong. So when some of you who said, why did you call Horace Grant Horace Jr. Grant? Jr.'s his middle name. That's what it had in there. From the Cleveland Cavaliers, we have Mark Price, listed in the back as William Mark Price. Hershey Hawkins of the 76ers. This podcast came on here. Oh, here's a name from the past some of you will remember from the Dallas Mavericks. Derek Harper. Show of hands, how many of y'all remember Derek Harper? I remember him. This is really targeting the basketball fans of the podcast here. Kevin Willis, Atlanta Hawks. Kevin Andre Willis out of Michigan State. He's on this in this particular pack as well. And here's an all-star card for Hakeem Olajuwon. I don't know. Early in Hakeem Olajuwon's career, they kept calling him Akeem. I don't know if that was by design or Hakeem said, you guys are misspelling my name. There's an H in front of it. It's Hakeem. But Hakeem Abdul Olajuwon. One of the all-time greats there. Eric Lechner. Got Eric Lechner here. Jim Linham. He was the coach of the 76ers at that time. Also in 83 and 84, he coached the San Diego team. Who knows what team played in San Diego? Anybody? It's Clippers. They play in Los Angeles now. Will Perdue! All these Bulls names. Everybody knows these Bulls names. Will Perdue. William Edward Perdue out of Vanderbilt. Randy Allen right here. And, here's a good one. One of my favorite current Twitter follows right now. Rex Chapman of the Charlotte Hornets. Yeah, what are the, obviously, the Rex Chapman story. If you follow enough, the Rex Chapman story. But his Twitter, it's a great follow. He posts a lot of awesome videos on there, Block or Charge specifically. You should go ahead after you follow at IamJCMoney up there. You should follow Rex Chapman because he's pretty good. An all-star card of one of my all-time favorites, Sir Charles, the Chuck Wagon. Charles Barkley makes an appearance here, the all-star here. Dallas Mavericks head coach Richie Adubato. I don't really know how to pronounce that last name, but it's him. And then we are closing out with Clippers rookie card of Jeff Martin. And finally, Ron Rothstein of the Miami Heat. So there you have it there. That is the second pack that I'm opening on the JC Money Show. Tune in next week, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know what day I'm going to post it on, but I'm going to do another one of these card opening packs here, and I may even just start to sort them out in between this podcast and next, so that way I can make sure I have the doubles, and if I have doubles, I can do some awesome contest for the doubles, whether I'm giving it away, whether I sell it, whatever. I don't know, but that is going to do it for this edition of the JC Money Show, an abbreviated edition, but an edition nonetheless. I want to thank you again. Right over there is my Twitter follow, and right over there is part of the list of where you can find us, but really anywhere you find a show, whether it's video on Facebook or on YouTube, Gear Network's YouTube page. I'll make sure that gets added over there. Still figuring it all out. But I'll make sure it gets added over there for the next time. And then, of course, anywhere you find your podcast, the audio is made available about 5 minutes, if that, after the video is released. So, again, thanks for tuning in. For those of you on the podcast feeds, remember, please listen to the commercials all the way through. That does us a big solid. For those of you that don't want to listen to commercials, but you do want to donate, head over to GearNetwork.com/donate. It is the PayPal setup for Gear Network, and you can donate in a number of different denominations, fixed denominations, as little as $1 a month or as much as whatever you want. There are several choices on there. It would be very, very appreciative, and I am very appreciative to those of you that currently do that right now, so thank you very much. You donate enough, you definitely get a shout out. You donate a lot, and you're going to get a spot on the podcast for a little bit. It's kind of like reverse UW ticket sales. Terry Cadillac says, here, you sell tickets, you could ref. That was at 2015, but still, nonetheless, it works here, but there we go. Anyways, thanks for tuning in. So long, everybody. Good night now. Flava Flav Hit us with the yeah, boy!
Yeah, boy!
Hang on, one more thing before you go. Remember, listen to our sponsors following this podcast, as that does help this podcast and this network out in a way that we appreciate very, very much. So if you could just ride it out 30 to 60 more seconds after this podcast is over, listen to those commercials, it would be doing us a very, very big solid. And again, we thank you.
This has been a presentation of the Gear Radio Network. For more, log on to gearnetwork.com.